Hi, in this video I'll show you how to share your Power Query files with users. You're an analyst and you're doing some Power Query, using Power Query to get some analytics out of a big data file. You're sending this data file to a more beginner user, but the analysis that you did was on that big data file. And once they open up your analytics file, they might get a data source error. Well, what does that look like? Let's go through a simple scenario. Let's say Carrie and Babs are working on the same project. Now, Carrie puts together a data set, and that's the data source for what they'll be working on. It's large, so she sends that over to Babs right here on the left. So instead of sending this data file back and forth, which is huge, she sends it to Babs so they can work off it with her analysis. So what Carrie's going to do is she's going to put that data file in her own folder. She's going to create another file called analysis. That's where it's pulling in that data file, and that's where she's doing the analysis, and she's going to send that over to Babs. Now, once she does some work on the data file and then she sends it over to Babs, and Babs refreshes that Power Query file, that data analysis file, she's going to get this data source error. Let's see how we can fix that. I'm going to try to simulate the two different desktop environments, one for Carrie and one for Babs. Now, Carrie's the one who created that big data file, and she sends it over to Babs, and Babs puts it into her own folders. Right? So let's take a look at their folders. So we see here that the data file is in Babs' folder and in Carrie's folder, and we have the analysis file. This is the one that Carrie's going to work on, and that's going to be pulling from the data file because the data file is too big, and she's going to send it over to Babs. So let's take a look and see what the analysis file looks like. So here we have an analysis file, and if I go to data and go to queries and connections, we're going to see that there's already a query that's pulling from that file. So if I go in, double click, go into this table 1 query, and I look at my source, it's pulling in the data file. It's pulling in that data file, and we're going through navigation, it's changing the types, and here we're just filtering rows. We're filtering for people in the accounting department. You can see there's a bunch of other departments here. If I clear the filter, you see everything here. So if I decide to change it, maybe I'll change it to business development, right? And I close and load, and this will refresh, and we've got all our business development people. If I save this and then send it over to Babs, once she's opened this up, she's going to get that error. Well, let's see how that works. So I saved it, and then I'll close it, and that file will have that, and let's just pretend I sent that over to Babs. Now, of course, I can't pretend I'm emailing it to her. I'm just going to move this file over to her and pretend I'm Babs opening up this file now, because it's going to reside in Babs' documents folder. So now I'm going to take this perspective of Babs. All right, there is no document folder under Carrie, so I'm going to open up the analysis file. And once the analysis file is open, maybe Carrie says, go refresh that file. And once she tries to refresh it, she's not going to be able to find that data source because this particular file is looking for that data source, that data file under Carrie and documents, which isn't on Babs' computer. So what can Carrie do? Well, what she can do is she can ask Babs to type in the file here, but she can create a parameter, a cell here where Babs can just type in the path name of the folder where the data file resides, and even if she moves it, all she needs to do is just change that path and it will recalculate based on that path. Let's see how she can do that. So I'm back being Carrie, and I'll double click the analysis file, and all I need to do is just add a parameter here. Let's close that, and I'll call this one path name, and for now I'll just type C. Actually, I'll just find the path of that data file here that I have, and then I'll ask her to change it later. Here as Carrie, we can just enter in the path name where the data file resides, and then at least it gives a visual cue or indicator of what it should look like or what it could look like. So let's find out where it resides. So we see here when Windows Explorer, this data file is going to be under users, Carrie, documents. All I need to do is just copy that, click in here in the cell, Control C to copy, go back into Excel and paste that in. So I'm back in the cell. I'm going to paste this in. Then let's double click this to auto fit this. Turn this into a table. Insert table. So this is a 2-row table. My table does have headers. Click OK. That turns into a table. I'll just call this path. Let's make it capital path. Press enter. I'm going to put this into the Power Query from table and range. And it's going to pick that up. All I need to do is just drill down here, right click there, drill down. All I want is that path name. And it's going to be called path, and that's the value it's going to bring. Click home, click close and load. And all we need to do is just load this as a connection. All I want to do is just create a connection, click OK. And that's there. Let's go back into this table query. Now it didn't load here because we've got this Formula.Firewall issue. Double click on that. And this is a common security firewall issue when you are pulling from external references. And since maybe we're in the same company, all we need to do is just change the query parameter, go to File, go to Options and Settings. Here we'll have query options, and for my local settings, my regional, my current workbook privacy settings, I'll just click Ignore. And this is okay. And in another video, I'll talk about how we might not need to go through this route to disable that Formula.Firewall error. But for this particular example, we can do it here. So I'm going to refresh that, and it should pull it in just fine. And once that's done, I can click Close and Load, and I can send this file off to Babs. And now all I need to do is just ask her to change that part. So let's refresh this again. Let's see if it picked it up. Yes. Now I'm going to pretend that I saved it. I send it off back to Babs and just ask her to change that. So I'm back in Babs' perspective of the file. She took the file that Carrie sent her. She's going to open it up, and then Carrie's going to tell her to refresh it. So I go to her data, go to refresh, and there's going to be some errors that she's going to get. And once she gets a refresh, she'll probably get an error. And what we need to do is take a look and coach her through it. Go into Queries and Connections. Table did not complete. So we got that dreaded Formula.Firewall issue. So what we can do is just to fix that by going to Get Data, Query Options, and under Query Options, change the privacy to ignore the privacy level. Since we're in the same company, click OK, and try to refresh that again. And now all we get is this user Carrie's document error, which is looking for that file under Carrie. So all we need to do is tell Babs that, hey, it's the different file that you need to put that under, and go back into this where your path name for the data file is and change that. So let's pretend we're Babs going back into Explorer. We're looking at where our data file is. We take that path, Control C to copy. Now we go and change the path name here. Remove that, press delete, Control V to paste, press enter. And now we do a refresh again, go to data, refresh, and now we can see that's loaded correctly, right? And so that's the way that we can get around with a user that is using the analysis that we have on a data source file. If we're working with users that aren't too keen with Power Query, all we need to do is ask them to change the path there, and it will reflect on that particular output of the Power Query. And with the Formula.Firewall error, we can just ask them to change that setting. Now, if your users are not too keen on changing that setting, I'll probably have another video in terms of how we can get around that Formula.Firewall issue without changing the security settings. But I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.